Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, based on wherever you are listening my message from. I'm absolutely delighted to share one of the most fascinating personal information and moment of joy that I've written my first book, and that is on quality, quality management system, and auditing based on ISO 9001 2015 standard. I would call it a book for quality leadership. Some of you might know me because I'm training for quite some time now, precisely since 1998, and conducted several programs. I've trained many learners worldwide from India and Middle East and Western world. World is so big and my capacity is so small to reach the globe. What I thought would be fascinating is to write a book that can reach many people across the globe. And that is how the idea for this book was born. This book is written in a storytelling mode. Mentor Victor, the central character of this story, is the mentor and the tutor who is in conversation with his learners who came from different part of the world in an imaginary facility in Nandi Hills, which is, of course, a dream project that I have in mind. A lot of imagination around this place that was kind of reflected in this book. So, Mentor Victor was welcoming those learners from different parts of the world. What inspired me was the story of our ancient Nalanda University, where learners from different part of the world used to come for learning, pure learning. And that facility was promoting something called lifelong learning and also competence-based learning. Now, competence-based learning is slightly different from a standard structure hourly based studies. This is not 40 hours or 50 hours or 60 hours or 160 hours program. The concept is you come for learning and achieving certain learning objectives. This might take 40 days or 45 days, or in Nalanda it was 4 years or 5 years or even 6 years. The education was free. In our case, unfortunately, I can't make it free, but it is priced very moderately. Now, learners were required to attain that level of competence. If it takes little longer, they have to work longer to get that level of competence. The hour of study was not the only yardstick. I tried to adopt those timeless principles that Indian history and Indian education, ancient education system actually promoted thousands of years ago. So the story goes like this. Learners came and there was welcome by Team TCB and the team that was assisting Mentor Victor. And the whole story is all about how you plan, perform, report, and follow up audit, how you talk, how you perform audits, how you interact with the learners, and in conversation, you are actually developing the superb competence. I have tried to bring ISO into our real life. It's not a dry book for passing an examination and some formulas and tricks of the trade. It is designed based on a holistic approach, how you can learn better, absorb the learning and apply in your own life and become a quality person. I would like you to read the book. I have poured 35 years of my learning into the book while explaining some of the components of the learning. I hope this will be a good read and a book to carry with you as your travel companion. If you find value in the book, my effort will be successful. I would like to read a small chapter. I love reading books, but reading your own book is like playing with your own child. This is how my book looks like. Transform your life and business the ISO way. I will read one chapter, small chapter. This is on clause number 9.2, internal audit. ISO 9001 requires internal audit as a mandatory requirement, which needs to be planned and performed at a planned interval. So the organization needs to develop a program or a schedule, perform audits over a period of time, and that schedule will come based on the critical processes, experience based on the previous audits, as well as changes that can bring risk to the management system. So those needs more attention. Audit needs to be objective, so independence of auditors has to be ensured. Audit findings has to be addressed, communicated to the concerned people, and action taken without undue delay. And those audit observations are going to go to the management review as input for improvement, and audit reports and records need to be retained as documented information. That's the requirement briefly given in the standard. If you read ISO 9001 2015 clause number 9.2, this is what you are going to get. Now let me read internal audit the way I wrote in the book. Internal audit, the powerful mirror. Victor turned back to the board and wrote in big letters, internal audit equals powerful mirror, not a police raid. He turned again, eyes twinkling. Let me ask you honestly, he said, how many of you have seen internal audit feared like an exam or a raid? Many hands went up. There was a laughter. Victor shook his head gently. This is a tragedy, he said softly. Clause number 9.2, internal audit was never meant to be a punishment tool. It was meant to be a mirror. When you stand before a mirror in the morning, he asked, does it humiliate you? No. It simply shows what's there, what is already good, and what needs adjustment. Underlining his points in the air, he said, a good internal audit should be planned based on risks, importance, and past performance, independent. Not the same person checking their own work unless there is no other choice. For example, a very small 1 or 2 man company, but yet the auditor must be focused, honest, and objective. With the intention, as I said, find facts. Competent. Auditors trained and capable like doctors. Evidence-based, not gossip, not opinion, but records, observations, and facts. He looked at the learners, his voice warm but firm. Think of auditors as the health check doctor for your system. Would you let an untrained person perform your heart checkup? Then why let an untrained person audit your safety system or QMS? The internal audit schedule, he confirmed, is like an annual medical health checkup plan. High-risk processes, you check them more often. Critical changes, you check soon after. Past problem areas, you follow up. You do not wait for heart attack to check your heart. Similarly, you don't wait for a customer disaster to check your processes. That's how we have gone into the detail. I tried to bring it near to your life. I've given a surgery analogy where a surgeon who comes for a surgery needs to be competent, and that's how competence is important, and a doctor can also check the system. So the health check process is basically an internal audit in our family. That's how I try to do that. In this book, I have also included some very interesting and inspiring stories from some of the most successful leaders in the world. I've tried to include Lee Iacocca and his incredible rescue of Chrysler from a near disaster. I talked about 14 principles of Toyota and tried to align them with the 7 quality management principles that forms the foundation for ISO 9001 standard. I talked about slightly on Dr. Deming and his contribution in the quality world. We call him a quality guru, Dr. Juran. Very little bit of mention he made about Kaoru Ishikawa and their work. I slightly also talked about waste, 7 wastes, and 5S. And very briefly, I tried to talk about the Six Sigma foundations in the book. And one more fascinating story I've included was about Nirja Vanut, an air hostess who sacrificed her life in a Pan Am Airlines aircraft which was hijacked. She actually sacrificed her life to save some of her passengers. That shows the ultimate commitment to customer to serve with your life with full devotion. I also talked about my hero. He is a driver come guide of my Adorable India mission, who has adopted and assimilated ISO 9000 standard in his own life as a driver and a tour guide and has become a role model. I hope you like this book and this becomes your travel companion. I've also got a dream to make this book convert into Audible so that when someone is traveling, they can also listen to that. And there is one more mission. There are many unfortunate people, physically challenged blinds, who cannot read, but they also deserve and has capability to become an auditor. So this book will serve the purpose so they can listen to this and truly become an auditor. They might need someone to help when they travel for an audit, but they can do a lot of elements of auditing in their full rights. Please read the book. As I said, I poured my life into it. I'm sure you might find some value in it. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.